Some Roosevelt dimes, often overlooked, are worth far more than their face value. These ultra-rare coins could be hiding in your pocket, worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Stay tuned, you might just have one of these hidden treasures. The 2015 Roosevelt 1 dime coin may appear to be just another piece of loose change to the average person, but to collectors and history enthusiasts, it's a symbol of enduring legacy, thoughtful design, and in certain rare cases, surprising value. Often overlooked due to its small size and familiar presence in our everyday transactions, the dime holds a fascinating history, especially when you dig into the details of the 2015 edition. It's a coin that not only carries the face of one of America's most beloved presidents but also, in some rare instances, carries a value far greater than its 10-cent label. The Roosevelt dime first made its appearance in 1946, introduced as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his death in 1945. His image replaced that of Lady Liberty, which had graced the dime for decades. Roosevelt was not only the 32nd President of the United States but also a passionate advocate for those suffering from polio. His association with the March of Dimes campaign made his placement on the dime especially fitting and meaningful. The coin quickly became a symbol not only of currency but of a leader's resilience and the collective fight against a devastating illness. By 2015, the Roosevelt dime had seen decades of circulation, slight design tweaks, and continued minting from 3 of the U.S. Mint's key facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced dimes for different purposes. Philadelphia and Denver were responsible for the coins you find in everyday change, while the San Francisco Mint focused on proof versions intended for collectors. The 2015 dimes followed this same path, with millions struck, but among them, only a few stood out as truly remarkable. Design-wise, the coin retained the classic features that Americans had grown familiar with over nearly 70 years. On the obverse, or front side, you see the left-facing profile of President Roosevelt, sculpted with dignified simplicity. His name, Liberty, is etched along the left side, while the words, "In God We Trust," are placed beneath his chin. The year, 2015, sits comfortably to the lower right, next to the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. On the reverse side, the imagery is rich with symbolism. A torch stands tall in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. These elements signify liberty, peace, and strength. Wrapped around them are the words, United States of America, the denomination, 1 dime, and the ever-present motto, E pluribus unum. The design is compact yet powerful, speaking to the coin's small size but significant place in American currency. What makes the 2015 dime particularly interesting to collectors, however, are the rarities and errors, those slight imperfections or unusual minting circumstances that dramatically increase a coin's value. In numismatics, error coins are often prized above even the most artistically perfect pieces. Whether it's a misaligned die, a double strike, or an off-metal error, these anomalies make a coin instantly more desirable. And in the case of the 2015 Roosevelt dime, there are reports of such errors existing in small numbers. Among the most notable finds are the 2015 dimes with double dies, especially those affecting the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. Under magnification, these letters appear slightly overlapped or shadowed, an effect caused by the die striking the coin more than once in slightly misaligned positions. These double die errors are extremely rare and are often overlooked unless someone is carefully inspecting their coins. That's why many of these valuable dimes have turned up not in old coin shops but in spare change jars, discovered by keen-eyed collectors or curious individuals who took a closer look. Another rare and valuable variant comes in the form of proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. These coins are struck with polished dies and on specially prepared planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish that collectors adore. While thousands of proof coins are minted each year, only a select few receive a perfect PR70 grade from professional coin grading services. A coin graded PR70 is considered flawless, with no visible marks or imperfections even under magnification. For the 2015 Roosevelt dime, a PR70 deep cameo example, featuring sharp contrast between frosted designs and mirrored backgrounds, is especially coveted. The silver content also plays a role. While modern circulation dimes are made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, proof sets produced by the U.S. Mint include 90% silver versions of the dime. These silver-proof dimes have both intrinsic metal value and collector appeal, particularly when preserved in top condition. As silver prices rise, so too does the base value of these coins, but their true worth comes from scarcity and quality. Mint errors involving missing clad layers or striking on the wrong planchet have also surfaced in 2015 Roosevelt dimes. These are extraordinarily rare, and when authenticated, they can command astounding prices at auctions or private sales. A dime missing its outer layer may appear copper-colored and lightweight, an oddity that instantly catches the attention of experienced collectors, but beyond mint errors and silver-proof versions, part of the 2015 dime's allure lies in its connection to Roosevelt's legacy and the historical depth it represents. The simple act of carrying his image on the dime turns each piece into a small monument, a daily reminder of one of America's most influential leaders. The continuation of this design since 1946 adds to the charm, creating a sense of timelessness in each tiny coin. Collectors who are passionate about Roosevelt dimes often seek out complete date and mint mark sets, tracking the subtle changes over the years and searching for those elusive high-grade specimens. And as more people become interested in coin collecting, especially in recent years with growing online communities and awareness of rare coin values, interest in dimes like the 2015 version has skyrocketed. What's especially exciting is the idea that one of these valuable coins could be out there right now, sitting unnoticed in someone's change jar, hiding in plain sight. It's that potential discovery that keeps collectors searching and keeps interest in coins like the 2015 Roosevelt dime alive and thriving. So, what's the value of a 2015 Roosevelt dime? Most examples found in circulation will be worth their face value, just 10 cents. However, when it comes to rare varieties, errors, and high-grade silver proofs, the story changes entirely. In perfect condition, with the right combination of rarity, a 2015 Roosevelt dime has been known to fetch as much as $24,000. Yes, that's right, $24,000 for a coin most people overlook. It's the perfect example of how something small and familiar can become an extraordinary treasure in the world of coin collecting. Whether it's a proof version, an error coin, or a silver variant, the 2015 Roosevelt dime is a reminder that great value can come in the most unexpected forms. So next time you come across a dime, take a closer look. You might just be holding something far more valuable than you think. Up next, the 1999 USA 1 dime coin. A coin so ordinary in appearance, so small that it often slips through our fingers without a second thought. But what if that little piece of change wasn't just worth 10 cents? What if, tucked away in your pocket, hiding in a jar of coins, or lying unnoticed in an old drawer, you had something far more valuable, something worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's the mystery and excitement behind the 1999 Roosevelt dime. It may seem like just another coin, but in rare cases, it holds a story and a value that make collectors all over the country take notice. The Roosevelt dime has been a key part of American coinage since 1946. It was created to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death, not only because he led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, but also because of his strong connection to the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. His image on the dime wasn't just symbolic, it was personal, and the public quickly embraced the change. Since then, his face has appeared on every dime minted in the United States, from the mid-20th century right up to the present day. By 1999, the coin had already been circulating for over 5 decades, and the design was well established. On the front, Roosevelt's profile faces left, with liberty along the edge and "In God We Trust" placed just beneath his chin. The date, 1999, appears on the lower right, and a tiny mint mark near the date tells us where the coin was produced. Most of these dimes were struck in either Philadelphia, marked with a P, or Denver, marked with a D. The San Francisco Mint, known for producing proof coins for collectors, marked theirs with an S. At a glance, most 1999 dimes look exactly the same. They're made of a copper core with a nickel outer layer and measure just 17.91 mm in diameter. But it's what's rare and unusual about a few of these coins that makes them so valuable. In the coin collecting world, it's not just about age or metal content, it's about rarity, condition, and the mistakes that slip through the minting process. Those mistakes are often the ones that turn an ordinary dime into an extraordinary find. Some of the most talked about 1999 dimes are those that were struck as proofs but somehow lacked the S mint mark. Proof coins are struck with great care using special dies and polished blanks to create a mirror-like finish. They're made for collectors and aren't meant to enter circulation. Yet in 1999, a small number of these proof dimes from the San Francisco Mint were released without the mint mark. No one noticed at first. These dimes look similar to any other proof coin, shiny, sharp in detail, perfect in presentation, but that missing letter makes all the difference. It turns the coin into a rare error that collectors chase for years. Beyond missing mint marks, there are also examples of 1999 dimes with double die errors. This kind of error happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing letters or details to appear doubled. Sometimes it's subtle, maybe just a faint outline around the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," but to collectors, it's a signal that the coin is something special. Errors like this aren't always dramatic to the naked eye, but under a magnifying glass or microscope, they come to life, and so does their value. Then there are planchet errors. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that gets stamped to become a coin. On rare occasions, a dime might be struck on the wrong type of planchet, perhaps one meant for a penny or even a foreign coin. These pieces might look off in color, size, or weight. They may have unusual coloring, or lack the nickel sheen of a standard dime. These minting accidents are rare, and when authenticated, they become collector favorites, often sold for thousands of dollars depending on condition and visibility of the error. Speaking of condition, one of the most critical factors that influence a coin's value is its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless example showing no signs of wear, even under magnification. A 1999 Roosevelt dime in grade MS-70, meaning a mint state coin in perfect uncirculated condition, is already impressive. Add to that a rare error, a full band strike, or proof quality without the mint mark, and that little coin quickly becomes a major prize. Coins with PR70 DCAM grading, proof coins with deep cameo contrast and zero imperfections, are especially sought after. Collectors also value what's called full torch or full band strikes on Roosevelt dimes. These refer to the bands wrapped around the torch on the reverse of the coin. If these horizontal lines are fully visible and not worn down or faint, it means the coin was struck with high precision. Coins with full bands often command higher prices simply because they're more difficult to find in perfect shape. Despite millions of 1999 dimes being minted and circulated across the country, only a tiny fraction are known to have these rare traits. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the idea that an extraordinary coin might be hiding among the ordinary ones. It could be tucked in a forgotten piggy bank, mixed into a roll of coins at the bank, or sitting quietly in someone's change jar for decades. Every now and then, a rare 1999 dime surfaces at a coin show, online auction, or estate sale. It's always an exciting moment when a new example is found, especially if it brings a new type of error to light. For coin collectors, each discovery adds a new chapter to the story of the Roosevelt dime, and each coin tells a piece of that story in its own way. Now imagine you find one of these rare coins. You check the mint mark and it's missing. You inspect it under a light and notice doubled lettering or a strange color. You get it graded and it comes back PR70 or MS70. Suddenly, this coin that you might have once handed to a cashier without thinking becomes a collector's dream, an artifact, a showpiece, and in some cases, a payday. Because here's the most amazing part. In exceptional cases, when all the right factors align, rarity, condition, and error, a 1999 USA 1 dime coin has been sold for as much as $55,000. Up next, the 1996 USA 1 dime coin. A coin so familiar that it often disappears into the background of our daily lives, quietly passed from hand to hand, dropped into pockets, and slipped into coin jars without a second glance. But hidden in this tiny piece of currency, in the right combination of rarity, condition, and minting mystery, lies the potential for incredible value. So incredible, the Roosevelt dime has been a staple in American pockets since 1946, when it was introduced as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His legacy as a leader through the Great Depression and World War II, and his personal battle with polio, made him a national figure of resilience and compassion. The choice to place his image on the dime was deeply symbolic, especially given his connection to the March of Dimes, a campaign aimed at fighting polio. Since then, the dime has carried his profile, making it not just currency, but a small piece of American remembrance. In 1996, the U.S. Mint released a special version of the Roosevelt dime to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the series. While most people saw the same design they were used to, Roosevelt's left-facing profile, the word liberty to the left, in God We Trust beneath the chin, the date, 1996, to the right, and the mint mark next to the date, this year carried a unique detail. For the first time since the 1960s, the West Point Mint struck a coin for circulation. These special edition dimes bore the W mint mark, a tiny letter that changed everything for collectors. The 1996 W Roosevelt dime was not released into circulation like typical coins. Instead, it was offered exclusively as a free bonus in the 1996 United States Mint uncirculated coin sets. This limited release made it instantly desirable, and although over 1 million were produced, many were mishandled or lost to time, leaving high-grade examples rare and highly collectible. The presence of the W mint mark makes it instantly distinguishable from dimes minted in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. Beyond the W mint anniversary issue, 1996 also saw standard Roosevelt dimes struck for everyday use, and even among these, some anomalies have turned heads in the collecting world. Mint errors and unusual die varieties have made certain 1996 dimes especially intriguing. One example includes off-center strikes, where the coin design is visibly shifted, leaving a blank crescent on one edge. These errors, when significant and paired with strong detail on the rest of the coin, are highly collectible. Then there are double die coins, where slight shifts in the minting die cause inscriptions to appear with a subtle, ghost-like duplication. On a dime, this might be most noticeable in the word Liberty or in God We Trust. These coins aren't common, and they're even rarer in uncirculated condition. A 1996 Roosevelt dime with a bold, well-documented doubling error can demand high premiums, especially if authenticated and graded by professionals. The reverse of the coin also maintains the familiar torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace and an oak branch for strength. Above and around these symbols are the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum, and the denomination 1 dime below. On high-quality examples, the reverse's torch bands are crisp and full, what collectors refer to as full bands. Dimes with sharp, complete torch bands are considered to be superior strikes and command higher prices, especially in mint state conditions. What makes the 1996 dime particularly fascinating for collectors is the dual nature of its offerings. On one hand, you have the relatively available business strike coins from Philadelphia and Denver. On the other, you have the limited edition West Point dime, a commemorative issue that never saw wide circulation. And then, you have the outliers, the errors, the varieties, the grading rarities. Each of these adds layers of possibility to the coin, turning it into something that can mean much more than its face value. As coin collecting has become increasingly popular in recent years, interest in modern rarities like the 1996 Roosevelt dime has surged. Part of the appeal is the idea that someone, anyone, could unknowingly possess one of these coins in a forgotten coin set, an inherited collection, or even mixed in with their regular change. The idea that something so valuable could be hiding in plain sight has reignited attention on coins from the 1990s, especially those with distinctive traits and well-preserved condition. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining value. A dime graded MS-70, mint state 70, is considered flawless and is exceptionally rare, particularly for coins that weren't specifically preserved by collectors. A 1996 W dime, pulled from a set and preserved perfectly, could receive this perfect grade and command a large premium. Combine that with full band details, a double die, or a rare off-center strike, and the coin becomes even more desirable. Even among seasoned numismatists, the 1996 Roosevelt dime holds a special place. It's modern enough to feel accessible, yet old enough to carry historical context and a sense of nostalgia. It represents a turning point, a return of the West Point Mint into mainstream coinage production and a celebration of the Roosevelt dime's enduring legacy. The best part? These coins can still be found. Some may be tucked away in forgotten mint sets or overlooked in casual collections. Others may be hiding in plain sight, their true value unnoticed until someone with a keen eye takes a closer look. And with coin grading services more accessible than ever, it's easier now to have a coin professionally evaluated to confirm if it's one of the rare and valuable examples. So what happens when all the elements come together? What if you come across a 1996 Roosevelt dime that's not only a West Point Mint mark issue, but also in perfect condition, with pristine surfaces and complete torch bands? What if it's a striking error coin with a unique and verified minting anomaly? When rarity meets condition, the result is extraordinary. That's exactly what happened in a few rare cases where 1996 dimes were auctioned for stunning prices. One such coin, preserved to perfection, bearing a rare strike anomaly and top grading, crossed the auction block and stunned collectors when it sold for an astonishing $62,000. Yes, a dime, worth just 10 cents at face value, turned out to be worth more than a luxury car, more than some homes, simply because it was rare, flawless, and part of a special moment in minting history. Up next, the 1976 USA 1 dime coin. A small coin with a rich history, simple in design, but hiding a fascinating story and incredible value in its unassuming face. The dimes from 1976 might look like just another coin you could find in your pocket change, but for those who understand the intricacies of coin collecting, these dimes have a deeper significance and an incredible potential value. The year 1976 was significant for many reasons in the United States. Not only was it the bicentennial of the country's independence, but it also marked a time of change and celebration across the nation. The country was reflecting on its 200 years of history and looking ahead to the future. To commemorate this monumental milestone, the U.S. Mint made a decision to release special coins with a redesigned reverse, making 1976 a year to remember for coin collectors. The Roosevelt dime, while not drastically changed in design, was part of this special year's coinage releases. The dime's design was already familiar to most Americans, having been in circulation since 1946, but there was something about the 1976 version that made it stand out in the world of numismatics. The Roosevelt dime, as it's been known since its introduction, features the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was chosen for the dime because of his role in leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his efforts in establishing the March of Dimes, a charity organization that helped fight polio. This coin, thus, carries deep symbolism, making it an important piece of U.S. history. The design also includes the inscriptions, Liberty, to the left of Roosevelt's image, and the motto, In God We Trust, directly below his chin. The date, 1976, is found on the right, along with the mint mark indicating the coin's place of production, either from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The reverse of the coin carries the familiar image of a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. The torch symbolizes liberty, while the olive and oak branches represent peace and strength. The phrase, E pluribus unum, runs across the top, and beneath the torch, you'll find the words, United States of America, and, 1 dime. These elements have remained unchanged for decades, making the Roosevelt dime a consistent and easily recognizable piece of American currency, but despite the design's consistency, the 1976 dime is not just another run-of-the-mill dime. The bicentennial year, with its special commemorative coinage program, stirred things up in the world of coin collecting. While the Roosevelt dime itself was not dramatically redesigned, a major point of interest arose due to the various minting marks. The 1976 dated dimes were produced in large numbers, with coins struck in both proof and uncirculated finishes. However, it was the condition, rarity, and other factors like minting errors that would later lead to the value explosion in certain 1976 dimes. As with any coin, the condition is key to its value. A coin with high-quality strike, no visible wear, and flawless surfaces is always going to be worth more than one that's been circulated heavily and shows signs of damage or aging. The 1976 dimes, however, had a better chance than many coins of staying in good condition, due to the unique circumstances surrounding their release. Many of these coins were part of special sets or purchased by collectors as part of the bicentennial celebration. As such, they were less likely to be spent in daily transactions, leading to a higher number of dimes in excellent condition. However, it's not just condition that makes certain 1976 dimes incredibly valuable. Rare minting errors have also contributed to their worth. One of the most sought-after versions of this coin is the 1976 dime with an overstruck error. In some cases, the mint used a worn die or improperly aligned die to strike the coins, causing images or details on the coin to be doubled or distorted. This error is rare but extremely valuable among collectors, as it represents an unexpected flaw in the production process, making the coin unique and much more collectible. Another key factor in the value of the 1976 dime is the full band strike. The reverse of the coin features a torch, and collectors look closely at the details of the bands that wrap around the torch. Coins with fully visible and well-defined torch bands are considered higher quality because they reflect a stronger, clearer strike. These coins are often graded as full-band coins, and their value can increase dramatically, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. The more crisp and detailed the bands, the more desirable the coin is to collectors, and this factor alone has pushed the price of some 1976 dimes into the thousands. While the dimes themselves were produced in large quantities, these errors, minting varieties, and full-band examples set a few apart from the rest, leading to significant interest in the coin among collectors. The pursuit of these rarities has only increased over time, as people continue to realize that the 1976 Roosevelt dime could be worth far more than anyone initially expected. Now, imagine you're a collector and you're lucky enough to come across a 1976 Roosevelt dime with one of these rare minting errors. Perhaps you found a coin with the overstruck error or the one with perfect torch bands, graded in pristine condition. For many collectors, this would be an incredible find. These coins have been known to fetch mind-boggling prices at auctions, often exceeding the typical value of regular dimes by thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The rarest and highest-graded versions of the 1976 Roosevelt dime have fetched up to $117,000. So, the next time you receive a dime, especially a 1976 Roosevelt dime, take a closer look. You never know, it might just be hiding a rare error, perfect condition, or a unique feature that makes it much more valuable than you ever imagined. If you happen to come across a coin like this, be sure to get it graded by a professional. You could be holding on to something that could change your life, or at least your collection, forever. And remember, while the 1976 Roosevelt dime may seem ordinary at first glance, it's anything but. For those with the knowledge and patience to look closer, this small coin could prove to be worth far more than you'd expect.